Jext, I used to believe that betrayal always arrived loudly, that it came with arguments, explanations, and clear endings. I thought there would be a single moment when everything broke and I would finally understand what happened. I was wrong. Real betrayal is quiet. It moves slowly and carefully. It hides behind routine habit and long shared history. I did not lose a friend in one moment. I lost him gradually, piece by piece, until one day I realized there was nothing left to hold on to. We had known each other for so long that his presence felt permanent, unquestionable, like gravity. When someone stands beside you for years, you stop questioning their intentions. You stop protecting yourself. You assume loyalty is automatic. That assumption almost destroyed me. We grew up together, shared the same spaces, fears, and dreams. We saw each other fail. We saw weakness, doubt, and moments no one else ever witnessed. That kind of closeness creates a dangerous illusion. The illusion that someone who knows you deeply will never use that knowledge against you. I trusted him without filters, without armor. I shared my insecurities, my fears, my doubts in quiet moments late at night. I believed those words were safe, protected by time and memory. I was wrong. Change did not come suddenly. It arrived quietly. Messages became shorter. Replies came later. Plans disappeared without explanation. I explained it away. I blamed life stress and growing up, because accepting the truth felt heavier than denial. Slowly, I began to notice people around me knew things they should not have known. Thoughts I had shared in confidence. Fears I had never spoken aloud to anyone else. I heard my own words returning to me, twisted, weakened, and stripped of context. At first I told myself it was coincidence, then misunderstanding, then paranoia. Denial is easier than acceptance. The first real warning was not anger. It was coldness. I noticed myself hesitating before speaking, choosing words carefully, holding back emotions. When honesty stops feeling safe, something has already broken. I did not confront him, not because I feared conflict, but because deep down I already understood. Confirmation would change everything. The real betrayal did not happen when I was strong. It happened when I was vulnerable, when I doubted myself, when my confidence was already cracking. That was when he changed the most. He became louder, more confident, more visible, while I became quieter, smaller, more uncertain. My failures made him look stronger. My weakness became his contrast. He did not attack me directly. He did not need to. Instead, he stayed quiet, allowed narratives to form, allowed others to speak for him. Silence became his weapon. He never fully lied. He never had to. Truth slightly twisted is far more damaging than fiction. I became a story told when I was not present, a comparison that worked in his favor. What hurt most was not what he did. It was what he did not do. He did not defend me, did not correct the narrative, did not stand beside me when it mattered. He watched, detached, comfortable. And that was when I finally understood the depth of it. He knew exactly where to hurt me because I had shown him. He knew when to stay silent, when to smile, when to let things collapse on their own. That kind of precision does not come from hatred. It comes from intimacy. Betrayal from a stranger wounds you. Betrayal from someone who knows your inner world reshapes you. Slowly, I withdrew. Not dramatically. Not emotionally. I stopped explaining myself. Stopped reaching out. Stopped trying to save something that was already feeding on my trust. Nothing exploded. There was no final conversation. No dramatic ending. Just distance. A quiet separation that answered everything. I replayed memories, searching for signs, asking myself when it started. When I should have known. But the truth was simpler than I wanted to admit. He did not suddenly become this person. He was always capable of it. I just never imagined I would be the one on the other side. Some people do not betray you out of hatred. They do it out of insecurity, out of the need to feel superior. Sometimes the easiest way to rise is to step on someone who trusted you enough to stand close. I no longer feel anger. Anger requires energy, and I refuse to give him that. What remains is something colder, clearer. Awareness. I learned that loyalty without boundaries is self-destruction. That trust must be earned continuously, not inherited through time. I learned that not everyone walking beside you is walking with you. With time, I stopped asking why it happened. That question only keeps you tied to someone who already chose to walk away. Instead, I asked why I ignored the signs, why I trusted memory more than reality. Nostalgia protects people who no longer deserve protection. I remembered moments where support should have existed but did not. Moments I excused because I did not want to believe. The truth is I was loyal to an image, not a person. And that distinction matters. People change quietly through choices, through silence, through what they allow to happen. And every time he chose silence, he chose himself. I stopped trying to save what never wanted to be saved, and learned where my limits should be. Over time, I began to notice how differently I moved through the world, how my attention sharpened, how I observed people instead of assuming their intentions. I started listening not only to words but to pauses, to what was avoided, to what was never said, because silence always carries meaning. I saw how patterns repeat, how small choices reveal character, and slowly I understood that what happened to me was not rare. It was familiar, almost predictable. Trust is often mistaken for safety, but safety requires awareness. I realized how often I confused proximity with loyalty, how I assumed presence meant support. Time does not protect, it only reveals. I stopped oversharing, stopped giving access too easily, not out of fear but out of self-respect. Boundaries stopped feeling like walls. They became structure. They defined where I ended and others began. I learned that trust should be built slowly, tested gently, and earned repeatedly. Losing people does not always mean failure. Sometimes it means growth. Sometimes it means alignment. I stopped fearing distance. Distance became clarity, protection, peace. What once felt like loss now feels necessary, because the people who remain do so without conditions, without leverage, without silent calculation. And that difference changed everything.